Amy, and this is my project on gender.
Hi, all. My name is Heather Diamond.
Hey, my name's Ty Kranz, aka Ty.
My name is Skylar. I am 26 years old as of April 16th.
My name is Caden. I am 27 years old. I work for a police department in a civilian position currently. I am a trans man. I identify as male.
I currently work as a CNA and I identify as a transgender male. He, his, him pronouns.
I'm an art student at the Art Institute of Colorado studying fashion design, and I also run a business called TNJ Upcycling, redesigning expression with my partner Jakey. My gender, I identify non-binary. My pronouns are they, them, or just Ty.
As far as my gender goes, I don't think of myself as transgender. I think of myself as bigender. And what I mean by that is I feel comfortable in both roles. And I have done that my whole life.
I identify as non binary. My pronouns are pretty flexible. I actually kind of answer to anything. Um, you can call me he, she, they, them. I don't really care.
I was born in a situation in which I didn't identify with the gender that I was being called and recognized as. And I spent most of my adult life, actually up to this point, living as a woman, which is something that I didn't identify as. So to me, gender and gender identity is something that you create for yourself. It's something that resonates with you. It's not something that's forced upon you by society.
For a while, gender didn't matter so much to me. I didn't necessarily think of people's gender as soon as I thought of them, but now, after coming out to myself, coming to terms with my own gender identity and my own sexuality, which is a totally different beast. What gender means to me is kind of it's still a thing that I'm exploring.
So, as far as what I think gender is, to me anyway, it's not an X or Y chromosome, it's not a physical thing. It is a more, for me, a mental thing and it's a heart thing.
Gender identity is a whole spectrum. It's everything, it's nothing, and it's basically how you feel need to express yourself on the daily.
Comfortability almost. I feel like so often we are given these two boxes to check, and to someone who doesn't relate to the binary, that's extremely uncomfortable, and that's a really difficult situation to be placed in. Um, and it's it's very deep rooted. I feel like gender is much more deep rooted than our physical, physiological, anatomical selves. So gender identity to me is something that is really personal to each and every individual.
Well, one of the biggest is that gender and sexuality go hand in hand. That's something that I've personally encountered a lot after I had started my transition. Uh, People would ask after I had come out, and why can't you just be a lesbian? Well, quite frankly, I'm not a woman. Um, Now I am in a relationship, and my partner just so happens to be male. And I've had people ask me, well, why couldn't you just stay the way that you were and be straight? Because I'm not a woman, is my short answer. Um, so that's one of the biggest misconceptions.
That were like not intelligent because they see drag queens all the time on TV or they go somewhere and they're drag queens and they're just having fun and they're just being ditzy and cute and so I think people have a tendency to generalize that we're all like that, and we're not.
I think that a lot of people assume that there's two because you are so often given two options. Have had you been given five, six, seven, like any, or even no options at all since a young age, it wouldn't be such a misconception. But because we do like to box things up, I think that is where you run into that problem.
I think the biggest misconception about gender is that it's set in stone. Societal standards say that we have these genders and they're set in stone and we can't change them. And I think that's what I'm out to change, is the perception that we can only be two things. We can only be a female if we're biologically born a female with female genitalia, or a male with the same criteria. I think it's very important to recognize that people don't fit in boxes and people don't belong in boxes, and we shouldn't put them there. It causes a lot of strife, and it can eventually end up taking someone's life if that's forced upon them for long enough.
I believe that the biggest misconception that people have about gender is that there are only two genders, and they barely acknowledge the third, and they confuse it with biological sex. So genitalia, self-expression, I think it's all mixed up, and people have created it to be one way or the other, and there's no in between, when in reality it's a spectrum.
We all have our own journeys, and every journey is different, just like life is different for every person. And we're all going to go through our ups and downs, and as long as you stay true to yourself and stay positive, you can ride out the storm.
It's okay to be you, and that there are other people out there like you, and to not be afraid to reach out, and become informed and educate yourself to help educate others instead of falling into anger, fear, and etc.
We are here. We're not going anywhere. All the trans kids who want to come out but aren't in a safe space to do so and need someone, please reach out to me, reach out to someone. Social media has become this incredible resource for finding other people, for finding people who can help you or want to talk to you. So if you're struggling, please, 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 please find one of us. We are more than happy to help you. And if I don't have an answer for you, I will find the answer for you, or I will find someone who does have the answer for you.
What I really want people to take away from this is that people who don't identify as male or female solely, or have had a journey in between transitioning, or a journey to find out that they don't feel like either or they feel like both, everybody is still a person, and everybody deserves the same respect and love that you would give any other cisgendered, which means identifying as the sex you were born with, deserves the same exact respect as anyone else.
No matter how dark of a place you're in, you 100% can see a better future. There is better out there. It will, no matter how much of a cliche this is, it will get better. You have to choose that it will. If you go around and decide that it's not worth it, and that it's terrible, and that things are negative, and only negative things are going to come your way, I, from personal experience, can say that is what you're going to find. However, if you break out of that, if you can see past that, even for just a minute, even for a second, just to see maybe it can be different, and you start with that and you let it grow, it can be.